everyone. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I have the amazing Kim. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. I'm so excited for this. This is like the highlight of my week. It has a little heart over my calendar. Like I'm just so excited.
Thank you so much. I am so very excited to be here. Like crazy hyped. I've also been looking forward to this all week long. So.
Oh, me too. So let's start this off. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Kim. I'm known on Instagram as sassmouthsimmer. And a little bit about me. First of all, I'm terrible intros, but I'm going to wing it. So I live in the southern part of the United States along the Gulf Coast. I live with my husband, and I am 40 years old. I just turned 40 over the summer, so that's a whole new adventure. So I'm representing the 40 and fabulous simmers out there. And for my profession, I am a senior level graphic designer. I've been doing that for, almost 20 years. I can't believe it. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. But I work for a very well-known national healthcare brand. And and I telework. So I'll get to work from home. And that's a great blessing. And that keeps me extremely busy, and especially within this past year with everything that's been going on with the pandemic, which is lots of high-level stress, which led me to picking up The Sims.
Oh, okay. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot.
Really
okay, so first we're gonna start with graphic designer. So like me in a past life, that's what I originally went to school for, was graphic design. And then my teacher literally sat me down and was like, pick something else. Like you have the vision, but you just don't have the concept of how to make it. And I'm like, you are absolutely correct. So I got to ask you this, because this is what I ask all my graphic designers, because two of my best friends are graphic designers.
Oh, that's awesome.
What, do you like InDesign?
Yes. Well, I'm from the old school print world. So,
okay.
So I cut my teeth on, and this is going to be like really old school, especially for fellow graphic designers that are watching this. But so I cut my teeth on Quark Express, and which is
I saw that in a textbook once.
yeah, it's really old school. So, and that's a print layout program, obviously. And so InDesign's similar and way better, obviously. And I'm used to designing like my beginnings in the print world, and then obviously transitioned over to digital. So I like InDesign, but that's because I've got history with the print industry and the print world. So and I use it every day. I use the entire Adobe Creative Suite every day, like so many hours.
Definitely so
many hours.
Many hours. No, that's awesome. The reason I asked is because InDesign is my kryptonite, but I used to work at like a printing press as sales, I know how they make it. And I was just so impressed on how that's how it used to be made versus now when it's all digital. I think the old school way looked much better.
I agree.
Without a doubt, like old school printing press, like it's just so crisp and clean. And now you got to worry about, do I have the right vector font? Is it scaled to printing when it was literally just a screen and you literally just pressed it through? Like I definitely think that needs to make a comeback. It's obviously not going to, because it's so expensive, but
yes.
No.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree.
Well, it actually leads me to my next question. And I feel like you may have answered it in your intro. How long have you been playing The Sims?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I actually remember, and this is probably going to be mind blowing for a lot of folks, but I actually remember SimCity, yeah. So because I'm like, again, I'm like, I guess, elder millennial. So I'm grew up in the world where it was pre-home. You didn't have a home computer. You didn't have internet, and then all that happened. And so we had a home computer, home PC. And for some reason, I don't know how we had a copy, but we got a copy of like SimCity. And so that's where kind of I dabbled with like just, I don't even know what I was doing. Like I was just building and doing things. And so I remember that vaguely. And then at some point when Origin, the original Sims came out, we had a copy of that and I played that. And it's just, it was so crazy for me. Sims 1, it was like, if I could keep a Sim alive for a week and not catch them on fire. Oh my gosh. I was doing things. I was doing big things.
I just said the same thing. I was like, if I could keep a Sim alive for a week, not catching on fire, that deserved a medal.
Right.
Because that never happened.
Yeah. So that was me all the time. Like all my Sims 1 always caught on fire all the time. Like death by fire all the time. And I don't even know how. It's like they'd be in the living room and like, boom, they're on fire.
They just combust. It's insane.
Exactly.
They just be like walking. You'd be like, a fire?
Yeah.
Where did this fire come from?
Exactly. So I played Sims, the original for a little bit. And then life happened because at that point, I'm like entering in college and design school. So I really didn't have, the bandwidth for that. And so I just got busy with life. I think I vaguely remember Sims 2. I might have rented it and played it like a couple times, maybe a handful of times. And I don't think I played Sims 3 only, because I'm busy with just doing life things and my career and things like that. But I almost want to say that maybe I have. Sims 3 is the open world version, right? Yeah. Well, maybe I have, just because I think I remember playing an open world version. So maybe I rented it at one point and played it. Like those days are like very hazy for me. But and then I recently picked up Sims 4 at the start of the pandemic. So that's kind of my Sims journey. I'm both old school and a newbie all at the same time.
I love that. I was just talking to my fiance last night about SimCity and just how like how underrated it was and how it was kind of really advanced for its time. Because I think it came out like in the late 90s.
Yeah, from what I can remember. Yeah.
Because I didn't play it when it came out because I would have been like 6 or 7. So I was definitely, but yeah, like I played like SimCity 3D and like SimCity Deluxe, but I really wish Origin would put the original like SimCity on so you could buy it.
Yeah, that would be so amazing. That would
absolutely be, I think that would be so much more fun. And then you would have the generation that didn't get a chance to play it.
Exactly. And have that experience, that OG experience. Like that would be epic, I think.
Right? Like,
and then for those of us who did, it would be like so nostalgic. Like,
yes. Yes. Cause like I've been posting on Instagram, like usually every Monday, like, did you play Sims 1? Did you play Sims 2? With Sims 2, I had a lot of people say, no, I didn't because I wasn't alive yet. And I was like,
I see that a lot and it makes me feel like awkward.
I know. I'm like, what? What do you mean you weren't alive yet? Like
sweet babies.
Yeah, sweet babies.
Sweet simmer babies.
Yeah. I definitely want to talk a little bit about your Sims 4 journey because you picked it up at the beginning of the pandemic. Was that your need to escape? Was this just something?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because my career is currently in the healthcare industry, and it's extremely crazy, right? I mean, since the start of the pandemic and all the way up to now, it's just been like crazy. And my position is already like high level corporate stress, a lot of stress and anxiety. So that was, I mean, and that's not just even including, everything that's going on, happening, in the world outside of, work. So it was a lot, and I felt, extremely stressed and a lot of anxiety. And we ended up upgrading our console, and we decided, why not pick up a couple games since we're all like quarantined in, and in for the pandemic, to just have something to escape. And I can't say I'm a gamer just because I'm just so involved in, my everyday, just regular life, real life. And I decided, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to pick up a game. And I saw The Sims. I actually saw Eco Lifestyle when we went to go buy our game. And I like the combo pack of the base game and Eco. And like all those past memories of The Sims like came flooding back. And I was like, oh, I love The Sims. Okay, this is my game. So I bought it. And then it's been like, it's been history ever since. Like I've played ever since. Pretty much every day.
No, I mean, that's awesome. And I feel like that's like a really great thing about The Sims is it lets you, be that escape, and it lets you do whatever you want. And in real life, for the last, I can't even say 16 months anymore. It's the last 18 months, we have been stuck inside, not being able to see friends and family, not being able to go out to eat dinner or like go get groceries, but like not being able to, do that fun aspect of our lives. Yeah. And in The Sims, you can do that.
Yes.
And it's absolutely, you're not the first person that's told me that throughout the pandemic that this really helped them.
Yeah. And
like,
it really has, like, it's been crazy. It's just like my stress relief. Like I'll even occasionally go play during my lunch hour, like from work, like just because it's like, I need that just kind of escape just for like a small moment, and then, go back to my day. So yeah. And it's crazy.
No, I
that happened, but it's great.
No, it's absolutely great. I absolutely agree with you. I do the same thing. So I work from home every other day. So when I'm at home on my lunch, I'm playing The Sims. I'm mostly doing Rose Chronicles stuff at this point, but yeah, I am doing it, and it literally doesn't make me stressed because my girlfriends have come to me and say like, Saucy, like, you're doing a lot right now. Like, how are you not stressed? And my response is Sims isn't work.
No, it's not.
Fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, like sometimes you have glitches and sometimes it's annoying and sometimes you want to throw your computer out the window. I absolutely get that. But I would rather do that than be stressed. It's because you're literally creating anything you want. You can do anything. It's just like,
it's limitless.
Like it's limitless, and you mellow out.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my Sims journey, and it's crazy because I'm still a newbie, and because also I'm returning to The Sims on console. Like back in the day, I played on PC, so I'm coming to console, and that's a whole new experience as well. So
that was actually going to be my next question.
I'm sorry.
Don't say sorry. That was my because I've actually never played on console. I've only ever played on PC. What's it like?
From what I can tell, just because again, I don't even know yet all the capabilities of Sims 4 on PC, but I know there's a lot that can be done. But on console, I know it's limited. So to me, I feel like that really pushes your creativity on how you use base game items, the items from the packs, and also just how you build, how you create and cast. You just really I feel like you really have to be creative because you're so limited, I think, in the capabilities playing on console. Which I love because I love a good challenge, and I like that box, and then trying to like work within that box, So I love it. I actually really enjoy playing on console. I mean, I know I'm missing out on a lot of really great mods and CC and all the things that are out there, but I really enjoy playing on console. It's a completely different experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that it's very different, and I want to try it eventually because like my fiance has an Xbox and we have the I think it's like the Game Pass, so Sims 4 is on there, and it's just the base game. And you're right, like it's definitely, it would be more challenging. Now, this is going to sound like a dumb question because I've never played console, but do you have cheats? Just as we have cheats.
I do have cheats.
You do have cheats.
And I am still finding out new cheats for console. Like I play PS4 and I'm still finding out new cheats. So if anybody's watching and you know some really good PS4 cheats, not like the regular, the obvious ones that everybody knows, but if you got good PS4 cheats, like tell me, like share that with me. But I'm still discovering cheats. So yeah, there's cheats. What I find frustrating though is in build mode, I can't or at least I don't know yet, because I'm still discovering, but I can't resize some of the items, or I just recently discovered, or not rediscovered, but I was finally able to get it to work on the controller, the free enable. I mean, obviously I've got my BB Move objects on, but I've got my free enables to where I can adjust things as I'm playing. But I recently discovered that, and I'm like, some of my builds,
You're like, yes.
But now I'm wanting to go back and redo a lot of my houses and a lot of the rooms, because it's just not the way I feel like they need to be, because I couldn't get something nudged up or close. But yeah, so that's kind of a challenge for building and things like that. And then yeah, you just have to figure out, I'm always researching and always reading on cheats and hacks for console that I can make the most out of cast, for outfits and creating my Sims, and then also for build buy and things like that. But I have to give a solid shout to all the people who all the builders and all the cast folks who upload to the gallery that have, that will fit for us console folks, with no CC and no mods.
Because that was actually my next question. This console does have the gallery?
Yeah, we have the gallery. Yeah. It's pretty much, I mean, I feel like it's pretty much the same Sims experience. We've got the origin screen, we've got gallery, and so I can pop on and search hashtags and things like that. Obviously, it takes a long time to type in things because it's on the controller. I mean, occasionally I will plug up my keyboard and type in, if it's a lengthy cheat or hashtag, but I usually try not to. I usually try to stick with my controller. But yeah, I can do searches and all of I think the same experience as it is on PC for Sims 4.
See, there you go, Kim. You just taught me. You taught an old dog a new trick, because I had no idea. I know that console definitely doesn't have the ability to do everything that a PC does. And I just read a really good article, because I can't really say, because I bashed the last kit. I was like, why are we having this? This doesn't make sense. And then somebody DM'd me and said, Stassi, this is for console players who don't have the ability to download CC. Yeah. And then my mind switched. I was like, you are absolutely right. You guys don't have the ability.
So every time they release something new, I'm feeling crazy hyped, because I'm like, yes, there's new stuff. I get new stuff, of getting nails and getting all the things that all the PC folks have had for ever, we're getting, and it's yes, finally. So yeah, every time they release something or update, it's exciting. Also, it's a little scary because I don't know the level of glitchiness occasionally that y'all get on PC, but for console, it seems like every time there's some new update, there's usually a significant glitch for console. And but no complaints though. I just wait it out until the next update, until they get it patched, and keep going.
No, that's awesome. This is actually something I was going to ask you. So like you obviously like the game pack refresh. What do you think the next pack they're going to refresh is?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I was really surprised by this pack refresh because I wasn't expecting it. I would really like to see them refresh. Oh my gosh, the name of the pack escapes me, but the one with Granite Falls where you can go camping.
Outdoor retreat.
Thank you. Like, sorry, brain fog moment. Outdoor retreat, because I feel like, especially now with cottage living, I just feel like because they've got so much built in place now with all the, wild critters and just all the things that's from cottage living. I feel like they could incorporate it into that pack. So I would just really like to see a refresh of that. I think that would be because that's probably my least played pack that I have is that one. And I love it, but at the same time, every time I take my Sims there, it's always raining. It's always raining.
I absolutely agree with you, Kim, because it's a pack that I don't play with. Like I haven't played with Spa Day forever. I mean, I bought it maybe like last year because it was like during the Christmas sale when it was like 50% off. So it was like really cheap. But like I never went to a spa. I never did the aspect. I just wanted the yoga mat for meditation and the wellness skill.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I can take my Sims to get my nails done. Let's go. Yeah. Like I'm definitely really happy with that. I hope one day that they add dyeing your hair. I will not stop plugging this until EA listens. Please.
Solid shout. That's a solid shout. I would love that. That would be epic.
Yeah, like imagine because like you've gone and gotten your nails painted, right?
Not yet. I haven't. I'm holding out because I don't want to give a spoiler, but I've got some like weddings coming down the pipeline. So like I want to do like a girls' day. So I'm like holding out for that.
Okay. Well, if you do, I have a nail salon in the Origin. I built one like back in January. Like when I was like just really started building up because I did the hair salon and the nail salon back to each other.
Thank you, sister.
Yes. Because I was so funny because I just kind of forgot about it because back when I first started, when I first started my Instagram page, I would build like 5 things a day and just put those out. And now I'm like I slowly build because it takes a lot of time.
It
does. But I created Twinkle Toes Nail Salon and I left it in there. And then the day after, because I was doing my review video, 80 people had downloaded it. And I was like, wow.
That's awesome. But I'm like hyped now because that is exactly what I'm always looking for is like locations to download for my Sims. So I'm totally going to do that because that's awesome. Like, bless. Yes. Thank you so much for uploading that to the gallery for all of us console folks.
Yes.
For everyone.
No, of course. Like I'm a huge, like I use CC, I use mods, but I still, when I upload something to the gallery, unless it's for me personally, I still don't use CC because I do want everybody to be able to enjoy my builds. I had this vision. I want you to see what my vision was. And like, I understand that there's 2 sides of the arguments. There's one that CC because who can afford $500, right? But then you have console players who have to spend that because they don't have the ability to have CC.
Exactly.
So like, yeah. Well, I definitely
all solid shouts.
Exactly. No, of course. I think this is now the perfect time to talk about your Not So Berry challenge.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So where do I even start? Because it's pretty epic and crazy. And I could probably talk about my challenge for like days because I get really nerded out about it. because I'm so deeply involved in it. So for anybody who's not following me, I am doing the Not So Berry Challenge. And obviously the Not So Berry Challenge, has its specific, rules and protocols for each generation. And when I began, I thought I was just going to play it as, the challenge states. But I then decided that I was going to do a big twist. And so I decided to do a sci-fi series of the Not So Berry Challenge. And it's a bit of a slow burn because I'm doing it similar to that. There's that Super Sim challenge that a lot of people are doing, where it takes a really long time to, tell their story and complete all their aspirations and skills and goals and things like that. So I'm kind of taking that approach as well with the Not So Berry, just so I don't fly through it, because I'm enjoying it, playing it so much. And I'm trying to give it a real life aspect, because, things in real life aren't instant all the time. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. But my Not So Berry Challenge is, it contains romance and drama and, sci-fi and extraterrestrials and government cover-ups and conspiracy theories and just the whole gambit. So it's crazy. And within my storylines, I have like all these threads that kind of branch off from the story that I'm usually telling in my post. And I also plant lots of Easter eggs, and I also go back to a lot of OG Sims lore. And really, that's really important to me, and I really incorporate that into my Not So Berry series. And so where do I begin talking about that?
What about at the very beginning? The very, very beginning. So maybe someone who has not, followed your Not So Berry can, start at the beginning and know where it goes.
Yes. So I started out, I created a family. They're a Creole family from the area that I'm from. So they're Creole. So I really wanted to represent that ethnicity there. And so it's a Creole family, and Minta Berry is my Gen 1. So for Gen 1, you have to be a scientist. You have to master the scientist career. And then there's the aspirations and the rules. Just anybody who's not done Not So Berry, just Google it, look it up. There's also links, I think, on my Instagram that you can check out as well to get the more information about the Not So Berry Challenge. But so I created Minta Berry, and the story goes, she began being abducted as a small child by the aliens, but she had already wanted to aspire to be a scientist. So she's very intrigued by them as much as they're very intrigued by her. And so the path goes that, she's being abducted throughout her childhood. She enters the science career. She meets the love of her life at work. And throughout this time, she's consistently being abducted, and she's consistently inventing or creating inventions that will help both Earth, the people of Sim Nation, and also the people of Sixum. So, and she wants to bridge the gap between the species. So she really wants to, she finds that the people of Sixum are a bit oppressed by their leader, and they live under kind of an archaic royal dictatorship in a way. And she really wants to free those people and bring them to Earth, or just have them travel between the two planets and be able to, have that diversity inclusion that is in Sim Nation. She wants the same thing for the Sixum people. So she's wanting to bridge that gap so that they can, everyone can be free to love and marry and, have families and just these interspecies whole relationships. So as she gets to live on Sixum for a while, and she meets their leader, their king, and she's not impressed, and he's pressuring her to do bidding for him because he wants the Earth's resources. And in turn, she meets his son, um, which is weird because I'm creating where the alien people, they don't age, or they age extremely slowly when they're on Sixum. Obviously, if they come to Earth, aging increases. So she meets the son, and he's enamored with Minta and her agenda, her ideals, because he doesn't agree with his dad. And so they kind of collaborate and come up with a plan for the future for Sixum and the Sim Nation. And in turn, the father, the king of Sixum, has decided he wants a trade agreement with Minta, which would be one of her heirs, her like family heirs. So she ends up, he consents that her daughter is going to be the president, the leader of, and that's for my Gen 2, the president and leader of Sim Nation. So he wants her heir for his son. And so basically, as a trade agreement, Minta betroths her future granddaughter to the Sixum King's son. So, and she does it secretly. So she doesn't tell anyone except her husband at the time. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of drama and secrecy within the family to keep this covered up. So Minta ends up having her child, Rosaberry, and she begins grooming her for the presidency, because obviously you need your child to be president if you're going to be able to change the world and change the government agenda with, dealing with extraterrestrials. So she begins grooming her daughter for presidency, and so her daughter becomes president, and kind of it's going along from there. And and then my Gen 3, I have my Gen 3, who's Maisie Berry, who's an astronaut. And that's where the blending of the Sixum Prince comes to find her, because he knows that that's his betrothed. And there's a lot of drama and a lot of cover up, because Minta is in turn grooming both her Gen 2, her daughter, and also her granddaughter. Like, she's grooming them for the positions for this agenda. It's a lot.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot to unpack.
But you know what I love though is like how in depth it is. How near and dear it is to your heart.
And it's difficult to explain because I'm leaving like a ton out.
But yeah, but like don't give us all, because we want everyone to come read it. But
yeah,
I definitely I've read it. It's incredible. Like it's honestly, it's like the best Not So Berry I've seen, because it's so out of the box, and it's not the same cookie cut Not So Berry that everybody sees. And that's why I really, really love it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, because it's so different. And
thank you.
You're welcome. And you're an amazing storyteller.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I want to make sure everybody can hear your story, because it's so like, I really got like Game of Thrones meets sci-fi.
Exactly. And that's the vibe that I was going for, because I've got some future characters that I'm going to be revealing, and without giving away anything, they're a little bit creepy in the medieval sense of their mindset, and it might be a little disturbing too. How there's going to be like some plot twists and turns, and especially as it leads back to OG Sims lore, like a deep tie-in for that. So yeah, that's exactly the vibe that I was going for. Thank you.
You're
so glad that came across.
Yes.
I hope this comes across.
No, I love that. So storyteller to storyteller, I'm just curious, how did this story start? Like where did this idea come from? Like, was it something that you thought about it and you're like, I want to write this down? Did you get the inspiration from anybody?
I just kind of thought about it as I began playing, like as I created. Well, first of all, I already knew that if I'm going to play my Not So Berry, I want it to be different. I'm really kooky in real life. and quirky. So I like being different. I like just marching to a different beat. So I already knew in my mind, like, whether I was going to publish it online or not, when I play, I like tell stories in my mind, like as I'm playing. So I already knew that I wanted a really interesting story to keep my interest in playing. So I already knew that I wanted it to be different. And as I was looking at all the challenge, requirements within each generation, and I was looking at, the scientist, the president, the astronaut, I thought, this is really great material for a sci-fi series. And even moving into the future generations, I can see where I can continue to weave this series into the story as the generations progress. And I just made it up all there and went with it and just went like crazy deep with it. Like, I think the whole like government cover-up conspiracy theory, whole direction, and aliens. I mean, come on. I just think that's a really fun topic and storyline to take in that direction. So that's kind of where I went. I was like, I'm going for it.
No, I love it. And you went for it. You gave 110%. You gave it all. There was no 50%. Like, you gave it all. So no, I love
deeply
that.
Invested.
I love that. So when you write your chapters, like, how do you write it? Do you hand write it and then type it out? Is it just like this, like when you're making like each specific, like, photo, are you like, is that when the stories, like how you're typing it out?
Oh, this is going to sound really crazy. So
nope.
I sit down at the console, turn on my game, and whatever happens in game leads the story. So obviously I have to, I'm trying to follow my not so very challenge rules. So, and I have to do, all the actions to complete that. So this is where the thing I love most about The Sims is the autonomous actions can totally change the story. So I never know really what to expect, and especially in the science career, because there's the abductions, just the insanity, the chaos that sometimes happens at the workplace. Like, you could catch on fire, something could explode. It just runs the gambit. So I begin during gameplay. So as I'm playing the game, I'm already like thinking out my story on how I want to tell it. And then sometimes the game is like, no, girl, that's not how we're doing it today. I'm taking it a different direction. And so whatever happens, I'm capturing my screens during gameplay and I'm saving them. And then later that night, like as I'm like kind of relaxing in bed, I open my notepad, and that's when I like reference each photo and begin writing out what I like, the storyline that I thought about as I'm playing the game and as it's happening live. Like, so, that's how I do it. I don't think about it beforehand. I let the game tell me what direction the story, I mean, I have a general idea, in my mind, but I let the game kind of dictate and tell me what direction I'm taking with the story. Because there's things that have happened that I didn't see coming and I didn't know. And I literally had to rewrite, my story around something that happened in the game that I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, one example is an accidental pregnancy. And I'm like, it happened autonomously. And I'm like, no. Yeah.
Oh my God. If that happened in Rose Chronicles, no.
Exactly.
No, I mean, they have the kid. I would just repurpose that sim as something else and age them up very quickly.
And I thought about doing that. And I was like, no, I'm so deep in this now, like so deeply invested and so deep in this now in the storyline. I'm like, okay, I've just got to go with it.
You just got to go with it.
That's what I live for.
I love it. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Please continue.
Okay. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, I love that. Is there any other like, oh shit, like I didn't think that was going to happen and then it did? Secret pregnancy, anything else?
Yes. So obviously this is not going to be a spoiler if for the people that follow me, but the people who don't know, and they're going to go back and read. So there's a rocket explosion. So Maisie's an astronaut. So she, in her career, one of her career milestones is like literally in order to get her promotion in her career, she has to do these rocket launches like every day. So right before, probably like an hour before she's due to work, I send her to do her daily rocket challenge, her daily rocket launch, because I'm like going for this promotion so I can complete that part of the challenge. And so I send her off, and the prompts come up for, there's always the prompts with when you're taking them off and for the rocket into space. And so all these prompts are popping up, and I'm just like, click, 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 going through them. And it begins to, I can see it's chaotic. Like her ship is, gets rips apart, and she might not make it back. And I'm just thinking like, okay, game, obviously she's going to come back. Well, I had no idea that when she come back, the rocket would crash and explode in the game. And also that is probably the most horrifying sound to hear in your headphones when it happens. It's almost equal to the Thief song, from the original Sims. Like it's the worst.
Oh my God.
I almost like, I wanted to die like when it happened, because I don't know now at this point. One, did I save my game before this happened? Two, is she dead? Did I just kill off my Gen 3? And now what's going to happen, And so that's another thing that happened, and that I wasn't expecting at all. And I was freaked out because I was thinking, is she living? Is she alive? Is she dead? Like, if she's dead, what am I going to do now as far as like my story and the whole plan? Like, am I going to have to start over? Not so Barry. Like, what am I going to do?
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
And I didn't either. I got schooled that day.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
It's just crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so it's just not only accidental pregnancies or abductions, it's rocket crashes, whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. I almost lost Minta one time. She was too sleepy and she began drowning in the pool, and I literally and that's Gen 1. So and I just started, and I was like, nope. I like canceled, closed out, and started the game over because I'm like, I can't kill off my Gen 1 like at the very beginning. Like, no.
Kim, do you know how many times Alexa's died in The Sims? Like
probably a ton.
A ton. I literally, she's died of embarrassment. She's caught on fire more times than I can count. She's fell asleep swimming, and all I do is I turn my computer off. I'm like, I don't care where the progress is, because my storytelling is very different from your storytelling. You let the game decide how your story is told. I tell the game how my story is told. So it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, that would ruin it too. That would immediately ruin it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just remember being like, no. You're like, this was like chapter 2, the first time she's died. She actually, everybody's died at least one point. Like a lot of people. I was just like, I must just kill Sims. That literally must. I'm not trying to.
And that's why I'm paranoid, especially on the challenge where it says only have one kid. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I need multiples.
Yes, you need multiples because you never know
somebody.
What's going to happen. Because again, autonomously, like they can just
poof, gone.
Yeah. Now there's, I know there's a cheat for PCs where you can't like your sim won't die. You toggle off death. I don't know in console if that's one.
I think there is, because I think I looked it up. I think so. But I'm like, well, if that's what the cards give me, then that's what the cards. Except for like Minta, I was like, nope. Like if your main character is about no. Yeah, no. See, no. I figured, I was like, well, if Maisie dies, then I still have my Gen Gen 2 mama, and she could
just have another.
Yeah. Or, well, that's where the accidental pregnancy comes from. So Maisie has a brother, and that's not part of the challenge. So that's where I had to just roll with it and break kind of my challenge rules, because Maisie's supposed to only be an only child, and Rosa and Salim autonomously hooked up, and I turn on my game. This is how this happens. So I was actively playing Rosa in the White House, and I realized that I need to go back and play Minta, because Minta, my Gen 1 mama, she also still has a young child. So I needed to go and age him up and kind of sort him out and get him through school. So I go back and actively play my Gen 1. And for a while, so I'm guessing in the background while I'm actively playing my Gen 1, Rosa and Celine had other ideas. So I saved my game, and I take up some time off. I think it was like during the holidays or whatever. And I come back to my save file and I click on Rosa, and she's autonomously at the gym. Fair play to you. Obviously she's had a baby and she's back in the gym autonomously. Like, okay, fair play. And I don't know this, but in the bottom, I see all the little profile pics, and it's supposed to be 3, and there's a 4th one, and I just see baby feet. Because you know how like it crops off. It's you either got the head
or you got the feet. Yeah.
Yeah. So I see like baby feet, and it's blue, and I'm like, why is there a baby in the house? And my heart starts racing. And so I click on, because I'm like, well, did Salim like bring a baby? Like,
yeah, like where did this baby come from?
I'm trying in my head, like thinking, no. Like maybe he just brought a baby in or something. See, so I click on Rosa and I go to check her genealogy chart, and it doesn't load. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
You're like, the one time you're like, I come on, I need this.
I need to know whose baby this is. And so I go back and I take her home from the gym. And so they're all in the house. And sure enough, there's the baby. Like, there's the baby. And I click on Rosa again, because I'm thinking, okay, well, she's home. Maybe I can see the genealogy chart. So I click on it, still won't load. And I'm like, all right, fine, Rosa. So then I click on Salim and I click his genealogy chart, and it loads. And it's like, Salim, that's his baby mama, Rosa. And I lose it, because I'm like, no, this is not the challenge. What am I going to do? Maisie's supposed to be an only child. So I just roll with it. Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought secret babies and crashing rocket ships?
Exactly. All autonomously.
That's crazy.
That's the stuff I live for.
Well, but that's what keeps the game alive and exciting.
That's what keeps me on my toes as a storyteller. 100.
Yeah, exactly. Because you never know what's going to happen. You could write, or you have an idea where this chapter is going to go, and then you got, like you said, you got to scrap it, because the Sims gods were actually, they had some different mind.
Oh yeah, and I've done that multiple times. Like I had a direction, and then nope. And I'm like, okay, well, let me think of how I can turn this into, spin it in for the story, in a positive way.
Oh my gosh. No,
so much dramatics.
That's so much dramatics. I love it. I love it so much. So I know it's on Instagram. Is there anywhere else that any readers can find this?
I did start out with a Tumblr, but I've basically abandoned it just because I love the Sim community on Instagram so much that I really wasn't getting much response on Tumblr, and I almost felt like it was becoming a bit too much for just like trying to manage my Instagram account and my Tumblr, and I that's also probably just because I'm being lazy, because I'm already so busy as it is in my daily life, that I'm like, one more thing to manage, I might go a little crazy. So I've abandoned a little bit my Tumblr. And so my primary story that's all the way up to now active is on Instagram primarily. So maybe eventually I'll go back to my Tumblr. I don't know, but I do have it linked on my Instagram. So that's where I am right now. Maybe in the future, I eventually YouTube or stream or something like that. I don't know. Streaming, like, I can't wrap my head around it.
Thank you. Me neither. I can't wrap my head around streaming. I have no idea.
I'm on Twitch, but I mean, I don't stream on Twitch, but yeah.
No, YouTube would definitely be something interesting, because my next question I had in my back pocket that I was going to, ask you is, would you ever turn it into a machinima?
Ooh, that would be fun. And that's interesting. I've been intrigued, and I was thinking about that. And I think that would be really cool. I would definitely have to research and wrap my head around that, but I think that would be really fun and really cool. I mean, if the possibility is there, perhaps.
Right. If the I think Your Not So Berry would be a great machinima, because
I can see that. Yeah.
Because it's so different. And I think you would have a lot of people very interested into watching it and, just seeing it play out.
Yeah. And it's so deep that even I can't convey a lot, in that description box. On Instagram, like, it's a lot to unpack.
It's a lot, right? Because you have so many moving factors and you're trying to put it into words, but then you're like, did I use the right words? Did I use the right descriptions? Did I fulfill what I was trying to say? Mm-hmm. Because with Sims, like something I like with a Sims story is you're telling the story via like Sims characters, and you have the ability to create it to the exact down to the exact details, that you can be very descriptive, but at the same time, you're like, am I leaving out descriptions because it's so much in the photo?
Exactly.
Because you don't have poses.
Nope.
No.
And so for me, that's where I feel like it's even more of a challenge to try to storytell when you're playing on console, because I can't rely on poses. I can't rely on a lot of CC mods that I could easily use, to convey something. So I'm having to convey it in a description. Also, because I'm doing the sci-fi aspect, I like really research like science terminology and all of those things, just so I can make sure that it's relevant to the story that I'm trying to tell. And I do like a ton of research, and I'm also like in my builds and in the backgrounds, I'm planning Easter eggs or hints, where if you're really reading the description and you're really paying attention, you're going to see that and kind of know what's to come and what's happening next. And also, I'm tying in the classic Sims lore. So there's also that tie-in there that I'm trying to include. So you really have to like read in and pay attention, because I'm trying to incorporate all of that into this one post, and in the description. So it's a challenge. It's a definite challenge. And I also try to name my characters too, where they have like either triple or double meaning that leads to future generations.
It's like story within a story within a story. I love that. I love a good Easter egg. And now I'm gonna be extra looking.
Yeah,
because I love it.
That's my Sixum Prince. His name. Okay, when Sims gave me him, his Sim name was Gary Boston.
Okay.
Which, if you invert the letters, it can also spell gray, which he needs to be the baby daddy for my gray gen.
Shit.
I swapped it so that then I have an alien name. So his alien name is Jira, but if you swap the letters out, it's Gary. And then I found another term for like a surname for Boston. I did research on that. And so Boltoff, which also means Boston, which leads up to, this is the in-depth of the research that I do to prepare for my storyline. So his name has meaning, and Jira apparently means protector, in which he has to protect Maisie from his people, from his dad constantly abducting her, and they're trying to like get information from her, do experiments, there's all those things. So he's also protecting his love, his true love, his soulmate, and his name actually means protector. So this is the level of in-depth of nerdiness that I have created.
You've now raised the bar for me. You've just now raised the bar for every storyteller out there.
So
wow.
This is the depth I'm in, and this is why I could talk about my challenge series like for days if I really get into it with somebody to talk about it. So yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And it translates, but it translates so beautifully because like the story is beautiful. The detail is beautiful. It's just so great. And that's why I wanted to get you out here, because I wanted people to know where to find your story and just how amazing it is.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me because I really work so hard on creating the story, and
I can tell,
and just telling it authentically. Also, being very mindful and inclusive as well, and then also very wholesome, because there's a lot of really wholesome family moments, and just some sweetness. Like, just I'm trying to like translate some positivity too within that. So,
and I like that because it's not a dark. There's some aspects of it where it can be a little bit dark, but there are those moments, because like a lot of other people's sim stories, it's like dark, dark. And there's no happiness. And I think that's a good story. It's being able to balance the drama and the sadness and then being able to appreciate those happy moments. And I can really see that with your story, because when shit's bad.
Yeah,
but when
it's real bad.
But when it's really good, like you kind of feel with your character the sigh of relief or that happy moment to know that, yes, this bad has happened, but now that here is some good.
Yeah, and that we're all going to pull through.
We're all going to pull through it together.
No
exactly.
matter what. Yeah. So I'm trying to keep that good balance between the light and the dark, and then also just being mindful of representing everyone as well. So.
Well, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You are absolutely welcome. Now, I do have a couple other questions. I feel like you kind of answered both of them, but we'll circle back. So, since you're console, and we've talked about CC and no CC, so I just want to hear your thoughts about CC.
So I'm not against CC or mods, because let me tell you, if I had a PC, it would probably be locked up because I would have too many of the mods in CC, because I already know, like, I would just go wild, like download all the things, and just install it. Like, it's probably a good thing that I play console, because I would wreck a PC, and this story would probably be like get super crazy wild, because it would just be all modded out.
Yeah. Like, it's literally, you can find anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything.
Yeah. Like I use a lot of debug, and it's just not the same. It's not the same from what I see, everybody else using. Like, oh, I would love to have that car for my sim. Like, I would love that pose for, like, that's so perfect. I want, them to like cuddle up on bed. Like, that's so cute. And yeah, so I'm not against those things, and I admire it. And I love reading and seeing other simmers use the CCM mods, and like, I admire it, and I'm like just lusting after it. I just think it's wonderful. I would love to do it. But again, the woes of console. But at the same time, it really pushes me to be a strong simmer.
See, that's what I was going to say. I was like, you're actually a strong simmer, because you're able to tell this story so beautifully without having any help.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Like, Rose Chronicles, everything is CC. Every character is decked out.
And it's beautiful.
Well, thank you. But like, the only, like, I would say maybe their school outfits are not CC. Like, that's literally hair is CC, eye is CC. Like, I have like specifics, like skin colors that are CC. Like, I have to CC it because I'm such a perfectionist that I have to see it how I envisioned it. And this is a story that's so close to my heart
Yes.
that I have to be able to portray it how I see it. And I will, if I don't like it, I'll scrap it and I will redo it. And I will spend those hours and hours and hours downloading the right CC. So for me, I feel like I'm copping out because I have a lifeboat where you don't have that lifeboat, but yet you're still able to tell an amazing story. You're welcome. So that's why I'm like, I am striving to go more on your, like letting the game play out versus me controlling everything in the game. But no, you do a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. And especially being such a new simmer as well, just because I'm coming into this, barely a year in. So I'm still learning so much and just really trying to push myself, especially within the limitations I have. But yeah, I think I'm a huge Rose Chronicles fan, and I think it's beautiful. And I get so hyped every time, like, a post release. I'm like, what's going to happen next?
What?
And obviously I'm like appreciating all the CC too, because it's like, oh, I wish I could do that on mine. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, you're making me blush. Like, thank you. I work really hard. It's something that's
I can tell.
So near and dear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I can tell. Like, I can tell you're like the level of passion behind your story with the Rose Chronicles is like the same, I feel like, as mine for my train wreck of chaos, of alien chaos.
I was gonna say it's a beautiful chaos train mess, but I love it. It's beautiful chaos.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
No,
and aliens.
And aliens. Beautiful.
And yours is magic. So
yes. No, mine's 100% magic. I've been branding the story for a long time. It's been about 8 years. And it's interesting now because I have to take stuff I've written and I have to put it into Sims form. And I specifically put it into comic books. I've never really actually said this before. So I don't know if you know, but I am dyslexic and I actually have a hard time reading. I've never really been able to read like an actual book. Someone has to either read it to me or I have to listen on audio. I used to be made fun of all the time because for my book reports, I would read comic books because I could actually understand the emotions. I can't, even still to this day, if I have to read something, I don't understand what I'm reading. I understand the words, but I don't understand like the meaning behind it. Like my brain can't comprehend what it's trying to say. But with a photo, I can comprehend this. So like, and I'm also terrible at spelling and I'm terrible at grammar because when I sound out words, it's not how everyone else would sound them out or how it like, makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to turn this into a comic book. I didn't even know Sim Stories was a thing. I had no idea. Like I joined Instagram this January and for Sims. Yeah. For Sims.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Right. And I was just like, I didn't know that
this community exists.
Yeah. The only reason I knew a little bit more about the community is because I watched Kelsey and Peachy K's 100 Baby Challenge. Yes.
And I watched also Claire Soban.
Yeah.
Her Not So Berry, which inspired me to like look up the challenge as well. So,
right? Like, and I was just like, oh wow, like this community is amazing.
It really is. And everybody is so nice and supportive.
Yes. And that's what I love because like, that's how I met you. I met you on Instagram and look now we're friends.
Sim sisters.
Sim sisters. Absolutely Sim sisters. But yes, no, but thank you for the kind words for Rose Chronicles.
You're welcome.
I sometimes I write and I'm like, is anybody actually liking this? Like I do go through those periods of being like am I doing this? Like, who am I doing this for? And my fiance, who 100% supports me in every decision I've made and actually is my editor and he's my little cheerleader. And I kind of said to him, like, it was a couple of months ago and I said, like, why am I doing this? Like, because I'm like, I don't even know if people are reading this. Like, this is a commitment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Stassi, who cares? Are you doing it for you? Or are you doing it for other people? I said, I'm doing this for me.
Then there you go.
And then he's like, then don't let other people tell you how to live your life. And don't let people say, like, you must do this and you have to. No, this is your story and you will release it and tell it how you see fit. And if people don't like it, then they don't like your story. And then you just, whatever. They're missing out because. Right?
Yeah. And I go through that. Actually, this week, I was having the same emotions, like where I was feeling like, what, why? And then I reminded myself, like, I'm doing this for me, though, because it's bringing me joy.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody out there that's reading or paying attention or, whatever, and it brings them some little semblance of joy or positivity or just even a giggle in their daily life, then that's a bonus. And that like also geeks me out because I love, knowing that, there's others that are enjoying and bringing happiness into their life. But
exactly.
At the end of the day, though, it's for me and I'm telling the story for myself, for my own positivity, for my own mental health, just bringing that perspective back into it when I might get caught up in kind of the whole burdens of, I guess, social media or putting your story or yourself out there onto social media and feeling like you need to fill some non-existent, checkbox.
No, absolutely. I like it's so hard because like I was saying this to Jason this week that I'm like, I would be out of a job if social media wasn't a thing because I'm marketing, but at the same time, it needs to go. Like it absolutely needs to go. Like it's so toxic and so vile. Like I've actually turned off all my personal accounts and I only look at Sims now because I don't care. I don't want to see the negativity of the world in my feed. I literally just want to see Sims because it really brings me joy. And if you have to go to my feed to see if I'm still with my fiance or what I'm doing, then you're not my friend.
Exactly.
And there's a reason you don't know because I didn't tell you.
Yeah. And you're not in that circle.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have to go through my feed to see what I'm doing in my life, then there's a reason you're in my feed and not in my inner circle. And that's something I really kind of came to terms with this year.
And it gets even deeper as you get older.
Oh, I'm sure it does because
you begin to value things a lot more intimately, more deeply, and appreciate the small things. And if nobody is giving you that positivity and it's just dramatic, that's got to go.
It's exactly. It's goodbye. It's a bye, Felicia, like out the door. Exactly. I know I'm 28, but I feel like I'm an old soul because like I don't care about, social media and like, putting like, oh my God, like, look at me, like I'm in this pretty dress. And like, and I used to do that because I never wanted people to see the real me because maybe they wouldn't like what they saw.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care anymore. And now that I'm telling people like I'm doing like this, I hope to maybe turn this into maybe some form of a career one day, but I'm really enjoying it. And you would not imagine the Sims community is like, yes, Stassi, like power star, but real life is like,
yeah, that's weird.
So you're just another YouTuber.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm trying to do something a little bit more different. And like this is a series where I'm going to interview lots more people moving forward. And I want to hear everybody's story because it's so different. Everyone's story is so different.
It's so different and it's so beautiful. And everybody's perspective is so beautiful at how they come at the game and then also at life too. And just seeing all the different people who are simmers. Yeah. It's amazing. That's what I love so much about this community. It's every walk of life that's playing and being supportive and coming together over, this game and their experience. And it's incredible. And that's what I geek about every day that I log in and just go through the community. It's like, wow, look at what everybody's doing. Like, right? This is amazing.
No, I absolutely agree. Like, I love the Sims community. I'm happy that our paths cross, and they're going to continue to cross. So yes. I'm so happy that like I got to be part of this, and I get to meet some amazing simmers along the way and get to share their stories with them, because everybody deserves to hear their story told.
And thank you so much for being a platform to, let us share our stories. Yeah. It's really, like, you're doing amazing work. Like, you're just killing it.
Well, thank you.
So thank you. We should be all thanking you.
Well, it's very appreciated. Like, I try very hard. I wanted to create this so people, because there wasn't really anything out there like this that like people could, talk about it, because what I kind of find is a lot of simmers they're really in it for themselves and just trying to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm ever going to be Kelsey and Peachy K or James Turner. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do that because I'm a little late to the game, but that doesn't mean that you can't do this.
You're telling the real stories. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, and I know that's like, personally, that's what I want to hear. Cause I like went looking, I want to know about other simmers' experiences and how they gameplay and what direction that they take with their game, and the advice that they have and things mm-hmm. like that, the actual real stories, the real experiences. And I looked for that, and yeah, it's not really out there. And if it is, it's hard to find, and it's few and far between. So again, I applaud you for doing this, sharing the real stories, because that's really where it's at. By the end of the day, we're all just out here doing our thing, playing the game, telling our stories. And honestly, that needs to shine. Like, everybody needs to have a platform to shine on. And so,
exactly.
And you're doing it. You're doing all the hard work. And so thank you. I'm going to say thank you for on behalf of the Sims community.
Oh my God. I'm actually might cry.
Not that I'm the spokesperson for the Sims community. I'm like the least person.
You're hired. You're now the spokesperson. I'm
the least person that should be, but thank you.
Well, thank you. And I think this is going to wrap up our interview. So thank you so much for taking time.
So much.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Thank you for taking time on your busy Saturday and, being here. And thank you for, I want to say thank you so much for being a really big supporter of the Rose Chronicles.
Oh, you're welcome.
I wake up in the morning, every morning being like, what were your thoughts? Okay. I just have to ask this. What are your thoughts for the next 10 chapters?
Oh, I'm hyped.
You're hyped?
I'm hyped. Like, you put out a lot this week that I'm still catching up on. I'm like, I get really busy with work, and
yeah, of course.
Like, I see a lot of stuff, and I'm like, okay, save, because I'm going to go binge read it later. And then when I binge read it, I'm sure you all of a sudden get like a million notifications that I'm like, love it. Or just getting hyped, or like, what, that happened, just feeling all the emotions. But when you release that schedule, your post schedule, and like what's to come, I'd about died. Like, I saved it. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely tuning in for the next series when it posts. Cause I am on edge. And that teaser that you did of like what's to come, I'm on edge.
How I look at it is it's like a TV trailer, like still to come in Rose Chronicles, like for the next 10 chapters. I honestly, the sneak peeks are absolutely my favorite to create, because there could be in any context. Mm-hmm. It's just a photo. You don't know what's happening. You don't know if it's real, maybe if it's not real, maybe if it's a dream, maybe someone's being compelled to think this way. I love that. I mean, to be honest, I will be doing Rose Chronicles probably. I think I figured it out that I should be finished this book, because there's 3 books total. Technically there's 4, but I don't know if I'll ever release 4, because I got to rewrite.
Tease us like that.
Four is a little something, but
Girl.
there's three. And I think I would actually finish the Rose Chronicles probably in 2023. There's
good.
I'm not even I haven't even scratched the surface.
Slow burn that.
It's definitely a slow burn. One day I would actually love to be published. I think that's kind of like what I hope. I think that's why I'm doing this. I just want to be I just want to be published one day and like I would turn it into a comic book. I wouldn't turn it into like a book, but like comic book without a doubt.
You totally should. Slow burn that. Just,
and
you better release 4.
It's so hard because there's so many different ways. Like I have rewritten the story so many times.
I can only imagine.
And I actually reread a lot of it, the really old stuff yesterday, because like what I'm actually writing, a lot of it was written like 2013, 2014. Oh, wow. Yeah. So a lot of like, the thing is like I wrote the last book first and I've worked my way back because I've always known what the ending was going to be, but I just didn't know how I was going to get to that ending. And I mean, if snippet, I mean, for anybody who, reads Rose Chronicles, there's a lot of things that are going to happen that are very important to Alexa that I think she's going to grow a lot, because a lot of people are really mad at me because they're like, Oliver is clearly throwing his heart out to her and she's stomping on it. And my response is like, she's 14 years old.
Right. Like, wait
for it. Like, she's a kid. I literally had someone DM me. They're like, Oliver needs to get the hint and move on. And I'm like,
no, slow burn. That's the same way with my romance with my alien and Maisie, because she was still she's like a baby girl, and he's been living for generations on his planet. I know that sounds creepy, folks, but just
no. Well, that's exactly it, right?
This is it. When you don't age, you're living across time. So yeah, the whole slow burn romance. So wait for it, folks.
Wait for it. It's going to be worth the wait. You're just going to have to wait a long time.
You're just about to die. Like,
I just wrote 37 yesterday, and
awesome.
Something,
so excited.
Something, maybe there's some feels going around, but again, I will say this, and this is, don't get attached to anybody.
Ooh.
I'm actually just about to start.
You're going to get me, because I feel like so heavily invested in so many characters that's currently going on Instagram with so many different people's accounts, and I get so attached. So when things happen to them, I'm like, I think my week is wrecked.
Kim, you might cry when I release the sneak peek for chapters 30 to 40. I literally saw, I wrote it last night because I gotta be like 6 months ahead for writing, because I release one once a week. Yeah. So oh man, I'm
gonna go buy all the tissue.
Yeah, you gotta go buy all the tissues, because I'm
gonna have to start hoarding some Kleenex.
Yes.
So I can prepare. Thanks for the.
You're welcome. Spoilers.
Oh my gosh.
Spoilers ahead. I should have said that first, but yeah, no. Like I said, I won't be done Rose Chronicles till at least 2023. I won't release the next 3 because it's very important. Actually, I have named the 3 books in Rose Chronicles, and I've done it so far. So I like to little Easter eggs.
I live for the Easter eggs. I live for that. I live for the Easter eggs and the lore and all of it. Live for it.
Right.
That's awesome. I don't even know when my challenge will be done. Who knows? I mean,
it could go on forever.
The slow burn. I mean,
it may never end.
Because what I have planned with some conspiracy stuff, it's wild. So, and it needs to be like unpacked. So yeah.
Ooh, you have me on my toes. I know. I can't wait. Well, anyways, I think we had a fun segue.
Oh, this was so much fun.
It was so much fun. You are welcome back anytime.
I will gladly come back.
Oh, well, I'm going to do, so I'm going to have a round table coming out. So I'm pretty sure, are you part of my Discord chat?
I'm not, but
No.
I let me get on that.
Yeah. So my Discord, so I created this Discord, I want to say a couple of months ago, specifically for Sims 4 writers and authors. And it's just a place for everyone, safe space to share your story.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm doing a round table to talk about stories, but I'm going to do another round table as well and grabbing more people's stories. So I would definitely love to invite you back with other simmers so we can just talk about our stories.
I would absolutely love that because I love connecting with other storytellers and hearing their process and hearing how they tell the stories as well and just their experiences.
Because it's all different. We all have the same tools. It's how we do them.
And that's what's so great about seeing how everybody tells it and their creativity. It's just, and we're all, again, using the same things.
Yes.
Yes, I would love that.
Well, look out for that because I will send you a calendar invite. And Kim, like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you.
It truly has. Thank you so much.
Well, you are very, very, very welcome.